What's up, man? How you doing?
Doing all right. What are you doing?
That's a good question, man. This is I'm doing a podcast,
Yeah.
live podcast, right here in public,
Yeah.
live on Venice Beach.
Can I join you, or
Of,
is
of
like
course. No, come on
you
through.
you there's a
Come through, man. Come on through. Here you are. Let me do a
Hi.
little intro real quick. Yo, what's up, everybody? My name is Michael, coming at you live from Venice Beach. It's a beautiful night. It's not as cold as I thought it was going to be. You see, I got the scarf on, I got the leather jacket, and I'm here.
Nice guy.
I'm
Hey,
here. Yo, let me. First
Ashley
off,
Davis. Yeah,
tell us your
in
name.
Venice for a
Ashley
while.
Davis.
I was in Hollywood.
Okay.
And also for a little while. I'm not sure what what all my. I haven't been able to like access much of the internet media. I kind of got like kicked off Instagram and stuff like that.
Okay.
But otherwise, yeah, I try to keep in touch with the World Wide Web and just like a general kind of like consider Republican fan base and such.
Bet. Tell us your story, Ashley. Where are you from originally?
Yeah, kind of Texas and Oregon, California. I've been here for like a year, 2 years or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where'd you first land when you came to California? Were you always in Venice Beach?
Ooh.
Was it
Well,
Santa Monica, Los
I was in
Angeles?
Redding for a while in California, but
Reading.
mostly Hollywood was the spot in Los Angeles and such.
Yeah.
The mall.
Okay. Tell me
Yeah,
about Reading,
there's
because I'm not familiar.
Katy Perry dress there. Reading has like a mission. It's like a church mission thing, and it's got food, and the town is kind of small, and it seems like some sort of what do you call it, like a test, like a government test, like sort of a town sort of
Okay.
thing. It's
Kind of like a nuke town, like a
yeah, a little bit,
small.
but it's like firefighters or something.
Oh.
Like extra like wilderness firefighters, and the mission kind of like feeds like a big crowd at the library pretty much all the time.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got really into Instagram there, and started talking to following Bonnie McKee. She does music like co-wrote with Katy Perry and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's the story I'm getting, but I'm kind of been a little bit spaced out on having long conversations and like delving into some of the some things that seem a little like they don't quite add up necessarily.
Okay. Tell me more.
The what's it called, the National Enquirer or something, uh, the kind of magazines you get at the store, with celebrities and stuff.
Yeah.
Different years or different pictures, and some of them like uh, like ostensibly current or something, that I'd
Okay.
assume that were like like something going on now, but they seem to have pictures or other stuff that doesn't like necessarily correspond. I think I've seen definitely more than one like close of a Katy Perry residency in Vegas.
Interesting.
With
Okay.
pictures and stuff, and that's like, I thought she already got the key to the city and stuff like a couple years ago.
In Vegas.
Yeah, in Vegas.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I thought she was in Beverly Hills and kind of
Katy Perry.
Yeah, Katy Perry dress at the TCL Dolby. Like a pink
Oh.
flamingo sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, I think that's really I covet it. I want it.
You want the dress?
Yeah.
The dress
Yeah,
itself.
It's like
Oh.
it's
Are you
like-
a big Katy Perry fan?
Super huge Katy Perry fan.
Super huge Katy Perry
Yeah.
fan. What's your favorite Katy Perry song?
All of them. They are my favorite songs.
But
Perry
here's
songs are
here's
my
here's the thing,
favorite.
Ashley.
Teenage Dream.
Teenage Dream.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a classic. That's a classic. Teenage. Is that the one? Is that the one with Snoop on it?
California Girls has Snoop on it.
Okay. Is that a Katy Perry song?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Hey, listen, man. Hey, I haven't failed yet. Listen,
Yeah.
I like a little Katy Perry.
So Katy, my lady, look at here, baby.
Hey,
I'm all upon you.
go ahead.
You're representing California.
Go ahead, Ashley.
Yeah.
You're just killing it. No, keep going. Keep going.
That's
That's it. That's you got.
I know a place where the grass is really greener, warm, wet, and wild. There must be something in the water. Sipping gin and juice, lay it underneath.
Oh,
the
I do know
palm
that song.
trees. Under-
Sipping gin and juice.
lay it underneath the palm trees.
There it is.
Under the boys break their necks, trying to creep a little sneak peek.
Go ahead, Katie. Go ahead. Katie, give him the dress. Give him the dress. Give him the dress.
Close to the ghost. When you party with us, we'll be falling in love. Oh, 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 oh. California girls were unforgettable. Daisy Dukes, bikinis
On top. Hey, I got that.
So hot, we'll melt your popsicle.
Whoa, whoa. Oh, whoa, whoa. All right, Ashley, tell me. So, Oregon, you said? In Texas,
Yeah,
right?
Oregon, Texas and Oregon.
Texas and Oregon. Okay.
Texas, like Garland, it's kind of like near Dallas, and then Oregon, Corvallis, Oregon. I spent a little time wandering around Springfield, kind of like in a fog when I'd come here first to Hollywood, and then like kind of went back and forth, kind of like walking up and down the coast. sort of
Like the
thing.
Springfield that's in The Simpsons, or that's a different
Yes.
Springfield?
I think it actually somehow I had those correlated that they might be sort of related.
Okay. I'm not very good at geography, so I'm genuinely asking. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm a math and science guy, but I
Okay,
got an A on the capitals test, and then I forgot where all the capitals are. I know about 4 capitals in America. I know DC, Phoenix, Sacramento, Eugene, Oregon. That might be
I think
that
so.
sounds
The
right.
capital
That
of
sounds
Oregon?
right. Again,
Yeah.
I can't
It should be
verify.
Portland, I think. Portland's
Yeah.
the big city and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's crazy because in California, it's the same way. Like the bigger city isn't the capital city.
Well, LA is like the capital of like all dreams and
Yeah,
and
I
like
like that.
hopes as far as I
like that. So
Katy
give me one of
Perry,
your
Justin
hopes and
Bieber.
dreams, Ashley,
Um,
or all of
I
them.
want
You
to
give me
like
one.
sing with,
All it's up to
sing
you.
with Pearl Jam or something. Like songs like Small Town and stuff that were really like. I'm probably just gonna keep doing that.
Okay.
I'm on vacation every single day because I love my occupation. Like I really love singing. It's just kind of like
So is that
It's fresh.
the goal? The ultimate goal is to be a singer, is to provide your gift via
the goal
vocal.
is to, like kind of bring the planet to a more like ideal sort of environment, like a little warmer, and like more animals and stuff. I'd like to see that we're not like in some sort of like a like a meter stick below the ground on like I think the zoo down in San Diego is like kind of like a ruler of like like where these superiors or something, because they the animals have look really detailed the fur and whatnot.
So you'd like to see the animals free?
Kind of, yeah. I'd like to be like to feel like I really fit in, and also like so like this conversation with you and I talked to somebody a little bit on a bench earlier today, but like it's been sparse.
Okay.
As far as like having like long conversations or dealing with any sort of like difficult subject matter and stuff like that. Like I'd like to have a chance to talk about to like evaluate politics or some issues like law about no killing animals, no eating meat.
Yeah.
It's like I think it's a huge like a freeze point or like a some sort of like communication breakdown.
Right. Okay. So let's run down the list. You said
With, like, hurting animals when they're, like,
eating meat. Let's start with that one. Start with
Yeah.
you. So you don't eat any meat. You're vegan.
Yeah, I don't like to deal with anything that's like it's got something's total removal and it's death from like I don't want anything's death on my hands.
Okay.
Because I'm just like I need all the brain power I get. I grew up with the like 10% of your brain sort of phrase.
Yeah.
They like you only use 10% of your brain. You're like, so what's the other part doing? He's like, and that's I try to keep talking so I can like make sure the other parts like what I'm watching. Yeah, and hear the
So what do you
parts,
eat on the day to day? Since you don't eat
French
anything.
fries a lot, like
Okay.
things like that, things I find. But yeah, mostly French fries. Probably.
So let me
Chicken,
run something by
potatoes,
you.
sprouts.
There was a recent viral article that spoke about how plants communicate
I don't have problems eating.
via. Let me turn this off. I don't know who that is. They know I'm podding. They communicate when they're in danger.
Animals or insects or
No,
what?
plants.
Plants. Yeah.
Plants.
Like the happening.
Yeah, but we have to eat something.
Do we? That's an extra proposition, possibly. Like
That is. Do we
the old
have
man
to
cannot live on
eat?
bread alone, but
Michael and Ashley are
It's just
asking
not
you,
enough.
do you really have to eat? eat? Has anybody tried to just not eat?
We're just like not trying not eat. It's just like but it's not like if I don't like put any of my or number I don't really try to like fund that area so much with my like planning concerns because it's uncertain to me, and I don't want to like wade in trying to get other people to like confirm for me that they do or don't eat and like how what they're trying, because that's not my business to like like weigh like difficulty on others,
Right.
but mostly the singing and stuff, and then like I enjoy a lot of the food.
Okay.
It's really good and stuff, but
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Actually, French fries is part of the number one vegetable in the world. I think potatoes is the number one most versatile. It's technically a starch, but the number one most versatile piece of food in the world. You
Yeah.
have French fries. You got mashed potatoes.
So-
You got scallops.
a little troubling that they're like a whole unit food sort of
Mhm.
thing, so that it's like all gone, all at once.
Yeah.
Instead of like something like pot plants. See some pot plants that grow really large, and so that when they harvest the pot, like the plant may still be alive, and you can have kind of like an ongoing relationship with that.
But the potato you can't, because once you take it, it's gone.
yeah,
I mean, how do you? So I don't know much about potato growing. It's not a giant plant. It's not like a corn
well, I think
situation.
it has little rootlets that come out of the potato, and I think maybe you can break those off and like try to like multiply the potatoes that way. I'm not really sure though. This kind of thing is like I chose to do music and stuff like that,
Right.
and prioritize that. So it's like it kind of hurts my
Got it.
feelings when like sometimes I feel like other people like co-fit, like and like take interest in like feeding me or doing things like that. But it's like it doesn't help with my like real like preparation for like what's like like observing like the environment and what's like maybe the best thing for me or not.
That makes sense. What did you say? Co-fit.
Yeah, it's
So
like
explain that
not
to me.
not to be confused with COVID, but like this is a co-video, but I'm talking about
No, that's a good clarification, because some people
Co-fitting.
might co-fit
Like-
with the F and a T at the end.
yeah, like set theory, like complement sets or something.
Okay.
So like covering anything I'm not covering. So like violence and like scary movies and like and lots of food or something.
Yeah.
And it's like don't do that, because that's like I'm kind of doing like I like same like other people do same kind of things. Also in varieties and stuff. Like talking about media and talking about issues is kind of right up the alley.
Mhm.
The same way, but the when it comes to like bigger differences,
Yeah.
it can be like a little off-putting and stuff. I just like assessed your jacket real quick because like the lens, but I see the like the scuffs and I like that. It's like
Yeah, man. Listen, it got a little character. It's got a little character in his. It's not a super pristine jacket. This is actually probably the last time I was gonna wear it, because it's kind of peeling off. But I like it. I like it.
I kind of like it that way. That it's it's got maybe something two-tone. It's got different tones. Like
Yeah,
the
it's been
ones
through,
that
it's
are
been
kinda
through something.
blue and-
Honestly, if I can get it to stop peeling, I'd keep it. It's not necessarily the fact that it didn't look pristine. It's just the fact that like when I walk, there's like a sea of past jacket that's behind me.
So yeah, I tried on a red jacket for a while on Hollywood Boulevard, and I've had some really great jackets, really great outfits. So I get to stay very long, and it'd be a really fun thing to have like good cameras so I can preserve those. But then when I try to like take pictures of myself, I find that I'm like not exactly as photogenic.
I
to
don't
myself
believe
as
that.
a-
I don't believe that. Actually, you
I
look
realize
very
I'm so much like Kurt
photogenic.
Cobain.
you look very photogenic. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You listen. If Kurt Cobain is photogenic, you're right up there, right up that alley.
There's a really great picture of Kurt Cobain at the outside the Dolby, like some of
The Dolby Theater in
yeah.
Hollywood.
Yep.
Okay, I didn't know that.
The artist, like Hispanic or something. He's got like a spray paints. It's like pastel or
Mm.
something. Absolutely incredible.
So if you're in Hollywood,
Same
the
thing,
Dolby
like,
Theater, check
see
out
some-
Kurt Cobain. It's Ashley's lookalike.
well, kind of like just
Just a little bit.
I call it Jesus Kurt Cobain because it looks
Okay.
like more like like a picture from the Bible. With like
Yeah.
a little more like a.
So it doesn't look like
tall
exactly
and-
like Kurt Cobain. It kind of looks like a caricature of him.
It does look exactly.
It does.
like
I honestly don't even know what Kurt Cobain really looks like. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I have to look up a picture.
It's kind of like I thought he was like kind of with a blocky face, like kind of
Interesting.
square. And
Let's see. Let's look up Kurt
Yeah,
Cobain and let's see. One of the three searches. I mean I can see it.
Okay.
I can see it.
Look
He
at that chin,
definitely
though.
he
It's
definitely
like-
has a different chin.
Yeah.
But you guys have the same vibe. You guys have the
Yeah, I
same
feel good.
vibe for sure.
Feel
Look,
that
this is
vibe.
the picture we're looking at, everybody. There it is. I love it. I love it. Listen, Ashley, before I let you go, man, tell me, how is your year going? How do you want it to go? And at the end of it, what would make you happy?
Um,
3-part
well, I
question.
want everybody to stop eating meat and stop buying that stuff because the biggest part is just like don't waste your mind on it. Don't waste anything
Mm,
like that.
that's gonna be
It's
tough
not
for
like
me, but I'll try.
start wording and singing and stuff because like I'm trying to like lap out into space.
Yeah,
As far as like, I feel like singing is like it's like a complex language. It's just got like a little extra information there.
yeah.
Um, you like what you talk to aliens with, something like that. Where you will go, right? Like, but it's like the thing of like it's like our best shot at like evolving, keeping in touch with each other, and I get worried sometimes with the Nord, the no word, like some sort of
The
like
Nord. Explain that. Explain that for the people who don't understand,
well,
including myself. What Nord? No word.
my dad had some like wood stuff, like wood blocks, and they say like Norge or something like from Norway or something.
Hmm.
And but Nord is like afraid like and it sounds kind of bad, and because it's like what I encounter a lot of the time
Yeah.
when I'm talking all day long is like nobody says anything, or they
No,
say
I
like
says Nord.
one word
Nord.
the whole day, the whole time.
That sounds like body
Oh,
language. Nord.
Nord.
Speaking in expression.
Well, I like to stigmatize it. I try to stigmatize as much as I can because
Oh.
I don't think it's fair to not share any words. And then like the words that get shared are like
Any type of
buzzwords. Like don't
any
say
let me say
it's
this.
like
Any
don't say
type of stigma is bad. Stigmatize, stigma, astigmatism, it's all bad.
well, First Amendment is free speech and free exercise and stuff. It
Mm-hmm.
kind of suggests also like taking like public issues and stuff like because it kind of rides on the tails of the war, and then just kind of like here's a recommendation like you might have some issues to sort out. Get together, exercise, practice speaking and like sitting down and like make suggestions of things. But like how long has it been? Like 200 something years, more than 250 years, without like taking like a lot of time to sit down and things like
Right.
that. And it's like USC, CFR, LAMC, but they got a lot of codes and a lot of like sections, paragraphs, and things. But
Hmm.
I don't necessarily get a chance to look at those because I'm dealing with people like on the street and first, like kind of like a first response for trying to like really like be natural, and then like uh, you find some interest in like pursuing a little more like examination of the founding documents because that's how I build artistic steps. Like film plans, storylines, song lyrics, anything that's like how to appropriately like frame my box.
That's what's up. So Ashley, at the end of this year, 2024, you're at December 31st, 2024, you're looking up in the sky.
January
What has happened throughout the
January
year
17th.
to make you
2024.
happy? What objective would have been accomplished to make Ashley happy?
Probably a little more of the Katy Perry, some stuff. Yeah, I'd really like to. Every time I can get like a take that's like really strong, it feels incredible and no higher than that. Oh, sing along with Teenage Dreams like in the video.
Okay. All right. Well,
It's like
before
a really really good way to get high. And then otherwise like Yield, Pearl Jam Yield, some stuff with like trying to sing a music video,
yeah,
sing the sense, like right, of like that you're like in the dark somewhere else and you're somebody else and you're smoking cigarettes and then while it's playing, singing Pilot or something, and that kind of thing. Oh,
okay.
and raising awareness about like non-public non-violence, so that
Nonviolence.
because
Nonviolence. That's
every
that's
town's peaceful,
very
but
relevant. Right. Relevant. Prevalent.
relevant.
Prevalent. Actually, know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right now, there's a lot of violence in the world,
Yeah.
and nonviolence is important. You're right. Me not using the right word is not important, but nonviolence is very important. Ashley, before I let you go, man, let the people hear your beautiful voice. Sing whatever you want.
I seem to recognize your face, haunting, familiar, yet I can't seem to place it. Cannot find the candle of thought to light your name. Lifetimes are catching up with me. All these changes taking place. I wish I'd seen the place, but no one's ever taken me. Hearts and thoughts, they fade away. Hearts and thoughts, they fade away. I swear I recognize your breath. Memories like fingerprints are slowly erasing me who wouldn't recall, for I'm not my former. It's hard when you're stuck upon the shelf. I change by not changing at all. Small town predicts my fate. Perhaps that's what no one wants to see. I just wanna scream, hello,
Hello.
my God, it's been so long. Never dreamed you'd return, but now here you are, and here I am. Hearts and thoughts, they fade away.
Fade away.
Hearts and thoughts, they fade away.
Oh my goodness, that was amazing.
Thoughts, they fade all away. Okay.
Oh,
Pearl Jam, Eddie Vedder,
Fade Away by Ashley.
by
Ashley, give him your last
Small
name
Town.
one
It's
last
a Pearl
time.
Jam song by Pearl Jam.
Okay.
I
thought you
Ashley
wrote that.
Davis.
I
Yeah.
thought you wrote that. Ashley Davis, just out here covering jams, giving you more jams. Voice of an angel. Ashley, thank you so much, man, for stopping
you so
by.
much.
Of course, man. Seriously, brother. Be safe out here. It's gonna rain, so stay dry and stay warm.
Oh, no, yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, peace, man. Y'all heard it here first. Listen, we're still here in Venice. Hopefully some more cool come by. Ashley Davis, man, was an absolute star. I'm gonna be real with you guys. There's not really much fun in Venice. I was surprised, so I really didn't think anybody was gonna come through. So the fact that Ashley did, man, really am super appreciative. And what a special time. And I'm gonna be real, it's not as cold out here as I thought it was going to be. And I am very, very happy about that because I don't do well in the cold, alright? I'm from Phoenix. Shout out to my peoples. Okay, I'm used to like 115, 120, 100, degrees Fahrenheit. I'm used to nothing. So any form of coldness doesn't really hit my soul. It's kind of like, you remember how Michael Jackson looked at everybody else when he was doing We Are the World? He was disgusted. That's how I feel about the cold. There's only so many clothes you can put on. Like, there's always going to be something exposed. And as soon as the cold wind hits that, it's a wrap. It's a wrap like American burrito. And versus when it's hot, you can take clothes off. And I know you're like, Michael, there's only so many clothes you can take off, then you're naked. True, but you can get in water. And there's more pools than there are hot tubs. That's why it's better to be in a warm climate. That's my propaganda for moving to a warm climate. That said, we're glad to be out here in Venice, glad to be out here in LA. I just hope that the weather can get better. That's it. I just hope the weather can get better. That said, as you guys know, we're live here from Venice Beach. I'm literally right next to the police department. Like, a fire truck just pulled up. There's the skate park right over there. We got the boardwalk right behind us. I'm actually gonna fix this light real quick. See if that hell. Oh, I look way better with the light right there, man. I look like I actually got some complexion, Toby. Um, Third week is almost over. We're going into the weekend, and technically, every week of 2024 starts on Monday. I think I'm gonna be real. I was very skeptical about New Year's being on a Monday because that means New Year's Eve is on a Sunday, and that means not really partying. I usually party. I did pod New Year's Eve. I was skeptical at it. A holiday on a weekday, Christmas. Only holiday on a weekday should be it's kind of Thanksgiving. At least that was my initial thoughts. But as I'm going through this year, and again as I recognize that every week literally starts on Monday because New Year's is on Monday, it's just a cool feeling. It's a different vibe. Like 2024 to me has a different vibe than 2023. 2023 felt like I was grinding, felt like I was through the trenches. I felt like Saving Private Ryan, but I was Private Ryan and wasn't nobody coming to save me. So 2024 feels like I'm the commander. I'm the guy. And I just have to execute correctly, and the war will be won. I just freestyled that. I just freestyled that. I just freestyled that, man. And that's what we be doing. What a time. What a time. I'm honestly so glad I got out here. It wasn't a struggle, but it was a little bit variable. It was a yes or no, because I knew it was going to be cold. It's supposed to rain, and there was a chance nobody would be out here. And there's not really anybody out here. It's not really popping like that, and that's okay. That's okay, because those who are around, those who are enjoying this space, are getting to do so without a lot of eyes, a lot of tourism. And honestly, Venice Beach is beautiful right now. I don't think I've ever experienced Venice in this way. I've only ever seen it with a bunch of people around, kind of when it's booming, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? I'm a tourist. I'm a tourist and never even my own, because tourism allows you to see and learn things that you'd otherwise overlook as a resident. So that's one of my goals in 2024, is just to be a tourist. Be a tourist, man. See some stuff towards you, like Broadway shows, ghost tours, bus tours, some stuff that I'm not gonna do on my own, because I don't have the time, the resources, the knowledge, or just other people are paid for a reason. So really taking advantage of their expertise and exploring and living and surviving and thriving and enjoying the city that is Los Angeles, California, and all the surrounding cities. For those who are from LA, say Long Beach is in LA and Newport is in LA. I get it. Okay, I'm trying to enjoy those all as well. And sorry guys, I'm trying to see. I got these lights on, so I gotta look through the lights. It's kind of like when you're on stage and you're a comedian. Like, a lot of people don't know this, but when you're on stage, you can't see much most of the time. At least the venues I've been at, because the lights is like wow in your face. So it's like a skill to learn to look past the light. It's a skill. That's a skill. This thing is. It's alright, baby. Look, DIY, baby. DIY. What we doing what we can. Still live from Venice Beach, doing a pod. It's Podding in Public. My name is Mykhal Polite. If you're just tuning in, we are a podcast that sets up anywhere, everywhere in public. And we have an open seat, as you see, that anyone at any time sit in this seat and come join the conversation. Tell us about themselves. and tell us about, what's going on in the world, in their world, in this world, and maybe even another, depending on what planet they are on. I just noticed that the skate park just cleared out. Like, there was mad people over there. I don't think you understand. There was like a big old crowd over there, and it was gone. It's gone now. I mean, it wasn't gone. It is gone. That is current. That is current. What is going on in the world? What's going on in the world? There's a lot going on in the world. Trump and Biden are battling it out for who's the oldest white dude who can mess up this country some more, and I'm not for it. I think there should be an age limit on any public office position. I don't. If you qualify for AARP, I don't think you should be running the country. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm in the minority, but I believe that because you're making policies for a world you don't even know. I would be surprised if Biden and or Trump know how to use a smartphone. Like, they probably have a grandkid who they call over to say, hey, I want to do X, Y, or Z on my computer or phone. Show me how to do it. That person shouldn't really be in a position of power because they don't even know how to use the power at their fingertips. And yet we're voting on them. That's insanity. That's insanity. Like, I'd rather vote between like Kanye West, Hulk Hogan, and Dwayne The Rock Johnson at this point. And not a fan of any of those people, but like, they at least kind of know what's going on. Hulk Hogan don't even like my kind, but he closer to like, and all those other ones. What's up, my man? Pull up, come through. Young dude over there on a bike, you know what I'm saying? He got the wheels lighting up. See if we can get somebody to stop. He had an electric bike situation going on. He rolling. He came with the light on, high beam. We'll see. It's only 6 o'clock. It's only 6 o'clock, 6:12. I don't have anywhere to be until 9 because me and girlfriend, you hear me? Me and my girl, we doing the Squid Game challenge, the Squid Game experience, man. I'm excited. I'm super athletic. I'm super competitive and athletic, so I think I'm gonna win every round. But she did beat me in mini golf, and I wasn't a fan of it. What's up, big dog? Come on, pull up. You gotta go. Where you gotta go? We'll get somebody to stop. And he looked for a second, he's like, what? Yeah, you should have. You should have stopped. And probably in public, man. This money is Mykhal Polite, man. This is once a lifetime experience. It's probably not once a lifetime. I'll probably be back. Probably be back on this daytime. Shit, I might come back Sunday? Tomorrow? Who knows? If we can get somebody to stop. You know, everybody talking about, I gotta go home. It's 6 o'clock. It's relax. You know, it's Friday. You're not going to sleep or home anytime. So he was getting some cutting. That's what he was doing. He was on his way to some draws. I don't blame him because he looked and he was like, damn, I got these draws to get. And he was gone. He was gone. His little kick push, Lupe Fiasco. Man, what? RIP to the coach. His name is, I want to say it's Serbian. It's RIP coach from the Warriors. That's what I'm gonna say. The assistant coach. Let's look up his name. I'm gonna give him respect that's due to him, because he must have been a big figure. They postponed 2 games for him. Coach Dejan Milijevic. What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
We're here for the rocket launch.
Wait, what? There's a rocket launch happening?
2 minutes out of Vandenberg. They're right there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh! I'm here doing a podcast. I didn't know there's
Bring a camera around, you might be able to see it.
Hey, listen, you ain't got to tempt me with a good time. I'm gonna say yes.
How many people are watching you right now?
We're pre-recording it.
Oh, okay.
We're pre-recording it. So after this rocket goes up and we watch it, man, y'all pull up. Y'all tell me about yourselves and why you coming to watch a rocket. I imagine it's not the first rocket you watched.
No, we live here, so I walk out all the time when I launch from here.
Oh, you're saying this happens often?
Yeah, probably like once a month.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, Vandenberg's like about 100 miles that way.
Okay.
Air Force Base, so that's where the rockets launch.
Yeah.
So they do a lot of SpaceX launches from there now.
SpaceX. Oh, so where is this rocket going?
This one is putting up Starlink satellites. It's putting up another set of Starlink satellites, I think further down south.
Okay.
The Starlink are the satellites for wireless internet.
Oh.
I don't know if you've been keeping up with that, but there's like about 300 of them there now.
Mm-hmm.
And probably within the end of this year, Elon Musk will have the entire world wired wirelessly.
So we won't need Wi-Fi.
No,
we'll have internet
you
everywhere.
just need a Starlink satellite receive antenna.
Okay.
And you can even do it in your car. You can like put it in an RV, take it out.
Wait, Starlink?
Starlink, yeah.
I'm probably thinking of OnStar. Those aren't the
Yeah,
same
well,
thing.
that OnStar works with does satellite communication, but Starlink's its own
Thing.
wireless communication system.
Ah.
So they've been putting him up for 3 years now.
Okay. Oh yeah, he been launching things like Batman.
Yeah, I think the other one's going to go all the way down here, so we'll probably see a booster landing.
Oh, so it's probably going.
Yeah, and then there's a floating barge out there where they actually land the booster on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you happen to watch any of this.
No, this is all news for me.
Amazing breakthrough technology.
This is no. And I'm a tech guy, but you know, space tech is a different. I'm mostly a mobile
Well,
tech,
you get
car
to see your
tech,
first
auto
rocket
tech.
launch. Hopefully it's clear enough. It's going to be a pretty ominous glow, if anything.
Listen, you just got me excited. I knew there was a reason I came out to Venice Beach today.
Yeah, awesome. Let's see. What's the countdown? Did they hold? Because they postponed it last. I came out here and 20 seconds before launch, they postponed it for 24 hours because of weather. Oh, it's on hold. Countdown's on hold. It's been aborted. Shit. They did it twice.
Because of the weather? Because it's gonna rain?
So yeah, they don't.
It got to be clear skies.
Go or no go. And if it doesn't go, then they just it's on a hold.
It has to be like
And when
no clouds.
Yeah, if the video goes to the SpaceX logo, that means tomorrow.
Right.
They're gonna reschedule it.
Damn. Well, come sit down, man. Let me tell you tell me about yourself. You're really into space.
Well, I'm into I do alternative energy research. My
Okay.
name's John, by the way.
John, how you doing? My name is Mykhal. Mykhal Polite, man. Mykhal
All right,
with a
man.
Y.
Pleasure to meet you.
Polite like the word.
All right, are we on?
Yeah, we're on.
My son's over here or something.
Yeah, I think he's right there.
Yeah.
He's in the hoodie.
He's like a cinematographer.
Really?
Extraordinary. Yeah, he's going to school, film school. Yeah, I spent 23 years in the movie business doing special effects, and I produced and also had like 3 films I produced, released, 2 Showtime ones. So a lot of film. But I left that industry and I started doing alternative energy research.
Okay.
So that's where rockets, I'm all about rockets. I used to work at Lockheed Aircraft way back in the day, so working with surveillance, spy ships and stuff like that. Top secret clearance.
Wow.
Yeah. I was young. I was a kid. I was about his
What
age.
transitioned you? Like, was there a spark? Was it a moment?
I'm way
that
too
said,
complicated for that question.
Nah, no, it's too complicated for any question.
Well, which one?
That went from film to
Oh, for the movie industry, it was easy because I had a special effects company, and back in the turn of the 2000, that's when Runaway Productions started. Everything started going to Canada and Prague, and California was not paying attention.
Yeah.
And they didn't really care. And then all of our small companies started getting like lack of work. We were bidding on all these movies, and then our clients would call up and say, "Oh, we're shooting in Canada now."
Because they were underbidding you?
Cheaper, yeah, of course. There were all those incentives. So all the tax incentives and the kickbacks that producers were getting legally.
Wow.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was negotiating a series in New Zealand, and they had the same incentives, and it's hard to say no. So hard to say no.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is it so hard to say no?
Because of all the incentives.
Okay, like tax incentives.
Well, the tax breaks, but also the percentage kickbacks that came back into the production. If you work here, we give you credits.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, most people don't. You have
Okay.
to do your due diligence and deep dive. Most people are not rarely on the production side. Most people are filmmakers.
Right.
And once you have your film, it's like, now what?
Right.
How do I sell it? How do I get it for people to watch it? And back then, there wasn't a lot of like streaming services.
Mm-hmm.
It was still like the primaries and the networks, and you had Showtime, you had HBO, and shows outlets like that. And YouTube was there, But again, when you want to film, you want to make money,
Right.
so you have to know how to do a distribution deal.
For sure.
You have to know how to sell your film, get the rights, and make money. Because most people don't.
Right.
They just think, they say, oh, you'll get like net profits, certain net profits, and net profit. No studio ever shows a profit to the filmmakers, so you always have to go after the gross. Listen to that. If you ever do a film, always get gross sales.
He's giving you game. Go for the gross sales, not
Never
the net.
take
Don't
net.
look the net.
Never take net.
He's giving game. John giving us game right now.
You won't see squat if you go net.
He's speaking from experience. This is anecdotal.
Absolutely.
This
yeah.
isn't
Got paid.
speculation.
My guys got paid.
Yeah.
My directors,
Because
my
you
writers.
knew, I can obviously tell you knew what you were doing.
Oh yeah. Well, the longer you're doing it, I started, doing it very young. I started self-producing my own stuff and hiring all my friends that were in the industry, and we became a tour de force. And then I didn't want to do it for money, but once I closed my effects company, I said, I got to make a living doing this now, because I had a family.
Yeah.
And so I had to start rearranging the deal and say, okay, I got to put myself in this, because when you don't need the money, you're fearless.
Facts.
You just, you make the best deal for everyone involved. And so, yeah, it was a lot of fun. But, in 2004, well, I had a DVD business that I created in the transition, because I was looking at the thing in a hole, and I saw an opportunity to do library management. And after 2 years, I was managing like 1,400 titles and converting them all over from VHS to DVD. So yeah, I had like 4 people staffed, and I ended up selling that business, getting out, then doing what I'm doing. So it was like
you were ahead of the time. It seems like you're always
have been, yeah.
Yeah, a step ahead, because VHS to DVD, like to be able to convert and know that that's on the way, and then get out of the game means that you had kind of seen the timeline before.
Well, yeah, once I made the decision, is because I created a technology that was my life's work. It was a culmination. I needed everything that I've been doing, because I used to work with, all the A-lister directors like Spielberg, James Cameron, Bobby Z, Robert Zemeckis, to name a few. And they always pushed us to create the future, create advanced technology that didn't exist. Like Back to the Future 2, that was one of my first films.
Really?
And, my first claim to fame is that, because Bob Zemeckis wanted 30 years in the future, and the special effects guy said, well, this is the best we could do, and it wasn't good enough for him.
Right.
These illustrators were making this magnificent stuff, and the effects guys are making this wonky thing, that just flashed.
And the special effects can make or break a movie, for sure.
These days it's a whole different world. But back in our day, it was practical effects before CG really took over. And most people don't know this, but Back to the Future 2 was one of the first times where they used like the robotic camera systems that because Michael J. Fox played like 2 or 3 different characters. They had the young Marty, they had he played his dad, and he also played his mom, or his sister, and all this stuff was going on, and they had to like meticulously set up these shots where these robots just mimicked the same movement over and over again. Now you can just rent that stuff for like $200 a day.
Yeah.
But this was a rig. It was monstrous, and they would be lucky to get 2 or 3 shots a day, with the entire crew, back then. But it was amazing to watch.
Yeah. Shout out Michael J. Fox. I just watched his documentary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Still.
Yeah. Still was great.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
I would argue that practical special effects still ranking in my world.
Well, I think that's more of a romantic. People can really notice the difference from practical. Because I used to do a lot of key props, a lot of like bombs and tech stuff, robotics, and then we got into costumes, and you can't fake that stuff.
No.
Well, you can.
You can.
The Marvel movies.
Green Lantern tried.
Well, yeah, but no. Iron Man 2 definitely pushed the realm, because if you see the behind the scenes, like in the kill box scene with when him and Don Cheadle's character Ruddy, when they were in the pit and all the robots were coming at him, they call them the kill box. If you see the behind the scenes, they were wearing jumpsuits with a bunch of markers and dots on it. They were not geared up.
Yeah, they didn't have.
And it's just like, it looks so damn good. And it's like, oh man.
But the amount of hours someone had to put in.
Well, yeah, but it's a whole different. It was Iron Man 1 from the first movie, which was all practical. Like 80% of the suit was real.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. wore the suit. But in Iron Man 2, he barely wore it. He wore like an upper part. And sometimes a helmet. And they would have like multi-stage helmets where it was open and then closed, and they would just swap them, and then the CG would seam it. They'd have them hold still, and then they'd go from an open to closed position. I mean, even Stargate, when we worked on Stargate, that was one of the first breakthroughs of that type of animation.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Stargate was revolutionary.
It was ahead of its time,
yeah. For sure.
It was the simplest script to read, but it played really well.
Right.
Very
entertaining. Yeah. If people don't know what Stargate is, then I don't know why you're watching any form of
they got 10-year series out of it. It was really funny because our feature, we did the gate room, the Stargate room, and all the controls in there was our company. And it's really funny when Stargate SG-1 was done in Canada and they mimicked our stuff. I said I would have sold them all of it.
You didn't have to copy it.
We would have reached out.
Gave it.
And I see all this fake stuff, and I'm like, well, I mean, copies of it. I go, well, it looks pretty darn good though,
Oh, so they did a good job. At least they paid homage in a good way.
Oh no, they after a couple seasons, they had a bigger budget. Sci-Fi Channel, which was the Showtime. Most people don't know that. I think the first 2 or 3 seasons of Stargate SG-1 was a Showtime original.
Really?
Yeah. So they had motion picture budget, because Showtime was really trying to create their own content back then. And then Showtime canceled it, and Sci-Fi picked it up. But it became a sci-fi phenom. And then they started calling it Sci-Fi Original.
Yeah. Which it wasn't. It was really behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But I think it is better on Sci-Fi Channel. I think it
Oh yeah, well the fan base was like so much
there.
because it was Sci-Fi Channel, science fiction,
exactly
home of Stargate. It was like the go place.
Versus Showtime. I can see why.
I didn't start watching the show until I closed my business, and sat down with my kids and I said, "Oh, let's watch this," because
really. So you never got to really appreciate your work.
Well, when they got into like season 6 or 7 is when. I got caught up, because we started watching the whole thing, and then, like season 7 is when that wasn't my work,
right?
Not the series, but the movie. I watched, many times.
Gotcha. Okay.
No, that was a really good claim to fame for us. So yeah, we ended up working with Roland Emmerich, and on 2 more films after that, Independence Day and Godzilla.
Independence Day.
Yeah.
With the man, the myth, the Fresh Prince.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. Every 4th of July, I watch that movie, and I say, it was because of us we saved the planet.
Oh, for sure.
Because we did the Area 51, like the main room.
Okay.
Where they track the ships and the.
Without you guys, they're not saving the world.
Yeah, that's what I'm always posting that. I said, if it wasn't for us building the Area 51 control room, Earth would have been, assimilated by the insects.
I mean, it sounds like that was kind of like you guys' thing. Stargate, Independence Day, Godzilla. You guys were saving the world through special effects.
Yeah, but from the movie stories, yeah. Oh yeah, we busted our butt. We always, like I said, we always did creative, and that was great because working with the most creative people out there, they always pushed the realm, so we were never bored.
Right.
Everything was something new each time, and some of the illustrators and the production design departments are just absolutely amazing. Stuff they come up with, especially on Back to the Future 2, I was blown away, and because it was like a family, they accepted me as a family. They invited me up to ILM, which I was like kid in the candy store. Got to see the behind the scenes. They had the DeLorean, doing the stop motion and stuff like that. And they were also working on Akira Kurosawa's movie Dreams.
Yeah.
And I got to see that. They had a cloud tank set up and all that. It was just amazing.
And interesting to see that behind the scenes work. I think that some people say it takes away from the magic. For me, it adds to it.
Oh no, yeah. Well, especially if you say, that's how most people say, I want to do that.
Yeah.
When you see the creative and how it actually happens, that happened with me with Star Wars.
Oh, really?
When Star Wars came out, I was in high school, and I as soon as I sat there, the first 10 minutes, I said, I want to do this. And it was like a shift. Star Trek I was a Trekkie my entire life, but when Star Wars came out, that first scene with the ships and all that, and the cut in, to the raid with Vader coming on, I was like, all right, I'm sold. I'm doing this for a living.
So was the Star Trek versus Star Wars thing a real thing back when it first came out?
No, that was never really. There was
really
two different galaxies. No, Star Trek set the precedence in the 60s, so it only went 3.5 seasons or 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And then Star Wars just became this phenomenon that's 40 years and more to keep going.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Disney is kind of just wrecking everything right now by buying everything.
Yeah.
And that's it was a sad day when Lucasfilm sold to Disney and then Marvel sold to Disney, and it's like, big monopoly.
But I mean, I'll say this: I think it breeds new originality.
Yeah.
Breeds new originality.
Well, yes and no. I mean, but the problem is they're trying to accelerate. They're trying to do it too fast. The quality control is lacking,
right?
And they're just trying to do too much. They were pushing too fast, and now it's all falling on them.
Yeah, for sure.
And now because people are like, oh, that was just too much. Like Aquaman got terrible ratings.
I mean,
Marvel
did you see it?
Terrible ratings. I will not see it.
I was not a fan.
The trailer was enough for me.
Really? I'm gonna be real. I don't watch a lot of trailers, but I happened to catch it.
I think that was all the best scenes.
Wow, that looks amazing.
Yeah, well, they put like most studios do, they put the best in the trailers,
which is crazy. That's why I don't like trailers, because it shows the whole movie. All I need is a teaser.
Almost. I mean, some films will do that, and that's when you know that they have a poor film. There's not enough substance. It doesn't keep you. But I can't say that. I'm not judging it. I just didn't want to see it.
I
was kind of tired of Aquaman
into a film in the dark.
Yeah, that's usually the.
I like to walk in and just be surprised. And Aquaman surprised me in the worst way.
And Chris Nolan says that with us.
Really?
Yeah, with Oppenheimer.
Oh.
Which is and then Tenet. Did you ever see that?
I did. Big fan.
Interstellar.
That's my kind of movie.
Yeah.
Like a minder, one that I'll have to maybe watch a couple times and think about. Arrival was like that.
That type of movie is called linear non-linear.
Linear non-linear.
Yeah, you know what that means?
Okay.
In Interstellar, when you first watch it, you have to watch it from a linear track of how the director wanted to show it to you.
Right.
But then at the end, you realize that time jumping, they were going into the past, going into the future.
Yeah.
And so when you watch it the second time, that first scene, you already know what is happening, and then your brain processes the ride a completely different way, because now you're seeing it from a non-linear standpoint, because you know what's coming. If you ever done editing, you can see it from a linear track, or you can see it from a non-linear track, where you look at the whole bar like that,
right?
And you can see all the different elements that you're putting together.
Mm-hmm.
That's how an incredible director knows how to ride you, because you want to go see it the second time.
Oh yeah,
the third time, because you get more each time. Tenet, I watched once.
It's a lot. Tenet is a lot.
And I said, I gotta wait for my mind to sync up to it before I go.
You gotta be mentally prepared to watch Tenet.
Yeah, again. Absolutely. Because people were, did you see that? I don't know if you saw that whole thing, that Twitter blurb where that Peloton.
Yeah.
And Chris Nolan, part of her class, and she's just going off on Tenet. She goes, I want my $2 back. And she goes, right, Oppenheimer, I've seen twice.
Yeah, well, it's not for everybody, the linear, non-linear thought process.
It's not an easy thing. I mean, there's a few films that have done that reverse the film, play it backwards, but the way Tenet did it, they did it forward but backwards.
Yeah.
So it was very different.
It was very cool. Some of my favorite films are linear, non-linear. Deja Vu with Denzel Washington.
Oh yeah.
Arrival is one of my
Sleeper
favorites.
film though.
Man,
Deja Vu should have been more. What was that? Was that a Tony Scott?
Had Paula Patton, I believe, in there.
Yeah.
No, Rosario Dawson, I believe.
Yeah, but it was it Tony Scott that directed it?
Oh,
I think it was. Yeah. Ridley Scott's brother.
Oh wow.
That was one of his last films, actually.
Is he not with us anymore?
I don't think so.
Wow. R.I.P. Tony Scott.
One
of my favorite movies, like Deja Vu, is when the laser goes through. That it's revolutionary.
No, yeah. Time travel stuff is always,
if it's done right, it's great.
If it's done right,
it's great.
But what is right? And then when you start, like when you look at the Marvel films, when you look at Infinity War and Endgame, when they start like dissing all the time travel movies.
Yeah.
It's like, so you don't tell me you're quoting Back to the Future here.
Come on. Come on.
They're talking about quantum jumping. So they made light of it, which was great, and everyone laughed because it is funny.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, are we really thinking time travel is the way movies are doing it? Because do we really know? But then the quantum realm changes everything, and I don't know if you watch like Ant-Man or any of the movies.
I did.
But the second time you watch it, every time they say quantum, you're supposed to take a shot.
Listen,
by 20 minutes in, you're already.
I like to make it through
three
movies.
sheets.
That's right. I like to make it through movies. That's the problem. I guess they say it a lot in there, huh? I was a big fan of the movie.
Yeah, no, the second movie is quantum everything.
Wow.
Ant-Man 2.
We might have to do that.
Every seventh word was quantum in that. Do we have any more quantum toilet paper?
I think there's a right way to do time travel. Back to the Future, Interstellar, Arrival.
Well, Back to the
Deja
Future was
Vu.
great. Back to the Future 2, that's where, they had that scene where Doc Brown actually showed you what was going on the chalkboard.
Yes.
And everyone's sitting there, oh, okay, I get it.
Oh, that's what they were doing.
Yeah. And there's another one, a movie that most people haven't seen. It's Super Sleeper, great time travel film. It's called Primer. 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 It's called Primer, and it's about these three guys who create this technology that they're trying to present to like this technology expo, but they don't really know what it does. They thought it was going to be like a quantum processor, but it had time dilation side effects.
Yeah.
And so they started to play with that. They started making a box, and the next thing they know, they're like, they can mess around with time, and they can go back in time.
Wow.
And but the problem is that they're not going back in time. They're going back in time. And so now when they go back in time, there's two of you.
So it's not a hot tub time machine situation. It's a...
Hot tub time machine took you out of the current timeline. They traveled through crazy times. And there's a few movies, like, what was that Michael Crichton book that they did with Gerard Depardieu? Gerard Butler, not Depardieu.
Yeah, the dude from Olympic Fallen.
Yeah, that was one of his early films, and that was pretty good because they were actually trying to make a teleportation device for sending technology to and fro. Not biological, but matter.
Yeah.
Inorganic FedEx matter. Was going to be like a big sale for it, but then they found out it was by accident. It was going back in time. Because they were trying to figure out where's it going. And they said, well, wait a minute, this time point it up into the sky. And then they realized the star patterns are completely different. They were able to sync it back. They went back 2,000 years or 1,500 years. So that was a good film.
Yeah.
But that was a good read, too, if you read the book.
I mean, theoretically, in order to do teleportation, technically it would be space-time travel.
Well,
but you'd need to create a rip within, and I'm really into that.
Well, there are a few movies, and of course we can go back to one of the Chris Nolan films, which was The Prestige. Yeah, remember that? That one?
I haven't seen that one.
That had Wolverine, Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, okay.
He was the magician, and also what's his name? Batman from.
Christian Bale.
Bale.
Wow.
Yes, he was the other magician, and they were competing. And then Nikola Tesla was involved. And they created this pseudo teleportation device where he would walk in a box and there was another one over there, and he'd throw a hat and go in, and then he'd open up the door and catch the hat on the other side. No one could figure out how he did. And so the other magician leaked it. Scarlett Johansson was in that too.
Oh,
and they told him to go see. They said Tesla, and David Bowie played Nikola Tesla, and so he goes up to Colorado Springs. And he says, I'll make this for you, but under what cost? He goes, well, money's not an object. He goes, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He goes, at what cost? You don't understand what you're asking for.
Right, there's more to the story.
Yeah, so the argument with that, I don't want to reveal the Prestige, because that's what the whole movie is about, is how magicians work, and the Prestige is the delivery of the final the final reveal.
Yeah.
And but the rest of the movie, people argue on what it was. They said, it's a cloning device and all that. It's like, no, it's a quantum teleportation device. He was like, and then it starts opening up to the theory of various timelines.
Right.
That there's like possibly 120 different living simultaneously.
Yeah, at this very moment. For sure.
Where it's a thin veil to the next one.
Yeah.
And so that's what that technology was like pushing
through the veil.
And from a drop, to the next one.
Oh.
As long as everyone was doing the same thing
At the
then
same
they would all
time.
trade places. It was like a drop down.
Yeah.
Or an up.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you seen
That
everything?
explains the end.
Okay.
Everything all at
Everything
once.
else?
Oh,
Were you a fan of that one?
So a couple
I was a
times.
big fan, big
The
fan.
first time I was like tired. But the second time I said, this movie's brilliant. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
worlds apart. I seen it 3 times in 3 different settings.
Yeah, well, when quantum physics finally started to reveal the multiverse theories as a probability, and that's when we're thinking of, and even it goes back into thousands of years ago with the Vedics, and going back into the Hinduism and all that, it's like, and that's the reason why the beads. I'm not wearing my beads, so I'm surprised. I took them off. And the 108 beads, and the ancients taught that there's 108 variables.
Wow. Tell me, I don't know about this, so tell me.
Well, this is where you get into the higher self-realization understandings. And the beads, each one, when you touch it, your mind is going through a different scenario of what if. And by the time you get to the last one is the one that's a definitive, that's the action that you're going to take in this reality. And it's almost like going through an hourglass. You know what an hourglass is?
Yeah,
with the
sand.
I know we
dropping.
don't have them. Everything's electronic these days. But an hourglass is where you see thousands of grains of sand, but it all funnels down to one.
Yeah.
And when it goes through that one, we can call it the event horizon. And then on the other side is the outcome of the reality that you've chosen. I like to use that analogy.
Yeah.
To try to
That
explain it.
last grain.
Yeah,
of
and that's your
sand is
decision,
the
because
decision.
when we leave here, you have choices. And this is how I like to shake people up, is that you can get up and you can go to the left and start packing up from the left to the right.
Right.
Or you can go from the right to the left, or you can go from the computer and start there. And every time you do this, you're creating a variable
Right.
of possibilities. You might take a little bit longer, or you might sit here and check your email before you leave, and someone else might walk up just before, or you could be packing up and miss that opportunity to connect with someone.
True.
And those changes are variables.
Yeah.
And it's like the same thing. It's like, even in the quantum understanding, like what we talk about, no fault insurance. Like if someone runs a stop sign and they hit you,
Yeah.
you want to blame them completely. But any attorney or insurance companies are really good to say, well, if you were attentive, you would have stepped on the brakes and avoided that person.
Yeah.
And they said, well, he broke the law. He stopped. He ran the stop sign. And why me? Why? And then you have the ability to go back, and if you consciously think without blaming, you realize that you were rushing out the door. You did have a lot of stuff on your mind, and you weren't as attentive as you normally were.
Right.
So if you could play it out again, you would go slower through that intersection,
And
because your
you-
senses
and-
are telling you, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, what the
Yo.
hell?
Yeah.
And it's a miss instead of a collision.
Right.
And these are the variables that we could talk about in our lives, because that's where a lot of people use the term regret or blame,
Right.
or be the victim, because they take no accountability or responsibility.
True.
Of
And
the
there's
actions
always like a form of accountability. So
Always.
I had to learn
These
that.
days, hardly anyone.
I had to learn that. The last 2 years was about, because I had gotten into some accidents that weren't my fault legally, but I was
Driving
rushing
fast?
and not necessarily driving fast,
Stepping through
just
traffic.
not being patient
Yeah.
and in enjoying the peace that was
Yeah.
that moment,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Well, when you drive the speed limit, the limits are there for a reason, because you have reaction time.
Right.
Your defensive driving skills pay, but when you double the speed limit, your reaction time is a fraction of what it was originally.
For sure.
So that's one of the key things when we see these variables, and that's the way we can look at our lives.
Yeah.
But the older we get, we start to connect those dots. And when you're in your early 20s, until you're like 25, it's like you leave kids alone. They got to figure it out for themselves.
Yeah,
It's not much that
yeah.
the elderly can really tell them, unless they have close, like near-death experiences or close encounters, or wondering why these patterns keep repeating.
Right.
Then you can get through to them if they start asking. But if they're constantly blaming, it's really hard to get through to them.
Well, some revelations have to be self-made.
Yeah, well, that's where wisdom is. But
Yeah.
it takes time to become wise.
True.
What was it? One of the best lines that Morpheus in The Matrix ever said? He goes, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path.
That's true.
Sit on that one for a second.
Yeah. No, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
It's a good one, yeah, because you can say, oh, yeah, I read that. I know everything about it. Yeah, but have you done it? And that's the difference, And it's like a DHD person. They can just read and incredible and take all this technical, but when you put them in front of it and say, do it, sometimes they can't.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the motor skills to sync that knowledge, but they can repeat it back to you. They can oversee
Yeah.
and supervise.
But they
But
can't.
they're not a maker.
No.
You know, they're not the hands-on person. So yeah, that's where it gets pretty wild.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, John, first off, thank you so much for sitting down
Yeah,
with
of
me, man.
course,
Thank you
yeah.
for taking some time.
Absolutely.
I really do
Yeah.
appreciate it sincerely. You're amazing. Just I didn't expect to meet somebody such
In the
a
dark.
wide range of interests, wisdom, and just genuine connection.
Yeah. Nice.
Out of 2024, at the end of the year, what would make you happy? Like, is it an event that happened? Is it an accomplishment?
Oh, that would make me happy?
Yeah, like that would make you feel like the year was a success.
Well, I think one of the most important things that most people are overlooking right now is the reason why my son and I were out here, is those rockets. The man that's creating those rockets in Texas, in Boca Chica, Texas, he's got a base called Starship, and he's got the most advanced rocket ready to take us out to the moon and to Mars.
Really?
And and hopefully within the next month or two, it'll achieve orbit. Each time they launched it, they only launched it twice. It's called Starship.
Starship.
Yeah, and the first time it was a successful launch, but it blew up the pad, you know, and like many of the engines, there's 33 engines on this thing, and like seven of them didn't. They all failed.
Yeah.
And then it didn't separate, but they got a lot of data from it. The second time, they got all the engines worked perfectly. They retrofitted the pad, you know, so it didn't burn up.
Yeah.
And then it, you know, the booster separated from the main ship. And it didn't. It achieved a low Earth orbit, but then they self-destructed it, you know. And they did lose some data, but they got a lot at the same time. So
Right.
the third
More
one-
than the first time.
Yeah, but each one is an iteration,
Right.
you know, to perfection. And that's the same thing that happened with the Falcon 9s that launched. You know, SpaceX launched over 100 rockets last year, broke the records.
Yeah,
You know,
that's a
well,
lot. That's a lot.
China broke the record the year before. I think SpaceX broke the record 2023, and this year they're on track to like break all records. If Starship goes, the key behind that is for humans to become a multi-planetary species, where we create that technology once again to be able to settle, like put a station on the moon, and then the next destination is Mars.
Right.
That will change so many things on this planet because of technology, for one thing.
Yeah.
But it also breaks us free of our limitations. Got a quick question for you. Do you
Yeah.
have a passport?
I do.
Great. So have you traveled?
I have.
Okay. You know how many people that you can ask that question? They'll say, "No, I don't have one."
I
haven't
hope
left
it's getting
their city,
less and
their
less.
state. You know, haven't traveled across the country.
Yeah.
You know, or go to a different country.
That's true.
You know, so the ones that have, you know, hold on to these beliefs that are really difficult for others, they usually don't go anywhere. They don't see the bigger world. They think it's a conspiracy. It's all fake. It doesn't exist.
That's tough.
Yeah. So what could really bust that bubble, where humanity
travel.
comes together as one? Well,
Yeah.
space travel is our ability to break our bounds. Yes. Or alien visitation would do it pretty darn
That's
good.
true. That's
so
true.
you guys got to stop your foolishness, or you're going to destruct yourselves, and we don't want any.
I
part
mean,
of it.
well, let me put my tinfoil hat on real quick. Do you not believe we've already had some type of contact?
Oh, we've for quite a long time.
Okay.
Quite a long
Okay.
time.
Listen, I asked that question. Some people are like, "There's no way," but I'm also like, the vast amount of stars, the
Yeah.
many years we've had, I think it's improbable to have the opposite.
Yeah.
To not have any contact sounds just ridiculous to me.
Well,
But that's just me.
There was a 30-year plan, you know, because there's these consortiums, and this is where most people don't know about it, but I learned it at a young age, is that there's these consortiums that look at technology breakthroughs, work on its implementation, but also reduce its capabilities and trickle it out until they talk about it for like 1 to 5 years. Then they present a demonstration of what it is, and then they talk about the first level of achievement and implementing it. And then there's the next one right behind it, next one right behind it. So within 10 years, it's completely accepted technology.
Yeah.
And we don't make a big deal out of it. But at first, you're like, oh my God, this is going to change everything.
Yeah.
And it's just like this device. You know, it's like
Mhm.
15
Like
years
concept
ago,
device.
you know, people couldn't fathom having something that does it all.
In the
you know,
palm of your hand.
you know, I had 20 different devices that took care of what this did, or
Yeah.
7. You know, but that's the thing. We're advancing so high within the understanding of the silicone, and we're accelerating as a human species. But at the same time, the chaos is accelerating as well.
Yeah.
But that's all part of what was like prophesized in many ways. Like when you look at ancient scriptures and all that, there's these evolutions that happen, these cycles where we go down, we go up, we go down, we go up. That's why we can't figure out how the pyramids in Egypt were really built, beyond our comprehension. It's so big, and if you can't go there, and see how big it is and how constructed, but you can't grasp it. But when you do, it hurts because it's beyond normal comprehension. Our little brains can't handle it. And then I start saying, well, we're not at that evolved state where we can break free of the three-dimensional, linear, perception of what life is. Most people think that we're just here to eat, screw and defecate. And that's
but that's not true. That's not true. I mean, it's interesting you say that because I'm reading a book called Life 3.0, Being Human in the Age of Artificial Intelligence. And page 67, 68, 69 talks about the Moore's Law, I believe it's called, of how things double over time and the evolution of things, and how once thing reaches its limit, it's replaced with something new. So it just resonated with me as you were talking about the evolution of things.
Well, you can start seeing those patterns, and that's one of the key factors. Is that was where we can, everything that has a beginning has an end, and then we go into a new era, a new age. And I work with forgotten technologies, and I back with technologies that were recognized 70 years ago,
like floppy disks.
Well, way before that.
Oh, okay.
About just like during like Nikola Tesla's era, where he was creating like rotational motors and inductive and high voltage open source, open energy systems, not silicone. And that's what I used to be familiar with when I worked in the Skunk Works at Lockheed. I was a kid, and I'm like, wow, this thing is like, how does it do this? And I was just trying to figure it all out with that simple comprehension. But then I was able to put it together over my life and come up with some pretty interesting technology that makes people scratch their heads. I'm opening up an aerospace division in a couple years, actually, of our principles. And I've been working on a couple of various ones, especially for quality of life for astronauts. Preparing, because space in 0G breaks down our systems. Our immune systems, vision problems, circulatory problems. And so working with human health technologies to help astronauts is one of the key things.
So that's what you do, like an alternate.
I've been working on that. Okay. I have prototypes that I've been slowly talking to people and introducing.
Nice.
And but I work with other avenues as well. But I'm always in that think tank.
Right.
And always working for but then saying, well, that's not ready for 15 years.
Right.
We built a prototype, but we're putting it away for a while.
And you put it away just because it's not ready, or you believe that you'll be further inspired?
Like when let's say for an instance, 15 years ago, I developed something that was, that had an incredible ability, but then there was no one to bring it to.
Right.
No one was there yet. Now they're there, and I'm like,
there's no one to receive.
Well, we were just, the technology didn't catch up yet for where my piece fit. Now it's happening. It's happening very quickly, and I have a piece that I can go, you guys ready for this? And then
here it is.
You put it in front of them, they're like, this is what we were kind of waiting for.
Yeah, we needed this.
It's like, here it is.
That's how I feel about like an infinite energy source. Perpetual energy, I guess.
Well,
is the common thing that people commonly say with magnets and things of that nature. But
look at what's happened. Look at what happened. Look at what's been happening the last 20 years with magnetic understandings. It's not just because we got smarter and understanding magnets. There is, because one of the things when we look at the laws of, let's say, laws of thermodynamics, the laws of physics as we know it, and we can go back 70 years, and when we created the first airplanes, and when we tried to push the boundaries, remember how as fast as we can go is 730 miles an hour? We couldn't get past that barrier. And we just destroy all aircrafts that tried. And they said the speed of sound is as fast as we'll ever be able to go. Until someone said, well, theoretically, if we make something that goes faster than that, not just
the speed of
750 miles an hour,
but pushing past it.
Theoretically, 1,000 to 1,100 miles an hour, and we just give it so much force and just send it on its way and see what it does. And that's what the X-1 with Chuck Yeager. And so he just throttled up and held on, and of course he went through the shutter. And then all of a sudden there was an event that happened, and all of a sudden it was just dead quiet. and he was accelerating. And it was just a whisper quiet out there, no sound.
Yeah.
Smooth as silk. And get what happened? He was handed another set of rules because he achieved what they thought was a boundary,
Yeah.
the impossibility. So what we learned, there's no such thing as impossibilities.
True.
Everything's possible. We just have to we have to understand what impossible means. It means I'm possible. If I put my mind to it, my intention, we'll figure out a way. And humans always do.
Always do.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm possible.
A few words of thought. Yeah.
No, there's no such thing as impossible.
We
It's
just
I'm
phrase
possible.
it wrong.
That's it. Put a little space in there. Put a little apostrophe. You got yourself a movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that or some good reading that sparks minds.
True.
You know, there's a lot of books that I read that got my mind going, and I give them big credit. All the time.
That's the theme of the year for me, at least. Is reading,
Yeah.
getting back into reading.
Excellent.
Out of my phone. I've always been I was a reader growing up due to my grandpa. First book series I ever wrote was Harry Potter. That was in 2nd grade, and just getting back to that, I think scholastic requirement of reading took my love of reading away, and as an adult now, I'm gaining it back due to necessity, but also curiosity. Making sure my brain is still working at a high level. I'm understanding not only the language, but how the world works and could work in the future, and how it did work in the past.
Yeah, well, that allows you to be articulate in any conversation, for one thing, because you're keeping your what you don't know, what you know that you don't know, and what you think you know.
Yeah.
All those things. The more we read, all of a sudden it's like, wow, that's pretty profound. Where do you know? It was a book I read, and then all of a sudden it comes out when it needs to, and then you're like, oh, okay, yeah, keep reading, and then you realize that information. It all depends on what you're reading, though.
True. I'm trying to balance it out, like a non-fiction book and a fiction book, because I got to get my fiction, and I like science fiction. I like mythical stuff, magical stuff.
Well, fiction, like science fiction, is called that until it becomes science fact. And look at some of the great writers like Arthur C. Clarke, Ray Bradbury. I mean, and Heinlein. We're like there in some of their books. We've achieved the things that they talk about. Star Trek, the original series, was based on those books. And now we're living almost the age of the original Star Trek. We have communicators, and we can talk to the spaceship, the ISS in space. We can bounce off of satellites. We do. Our GPSs are satellites. We are there. But and almost everything that we've done in movies is creative flow of creating, actual technology.
Yeah.
Even CG stuff becomes practical and real. Look at the screens that we have. CES, the Consumer Electronics Show.
Yeah,
The first
the transparent. Yeah.
And now those things are, they're going to be all over the place. I just bought one of those, you remember those holograms that were revealed 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah.
The spinners that create a hologram right in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
I just bought one that's in your hand.
Really?
Yeah, and you can just create a hologram in your hand.
Really?
Just got it from China last week. Yeah, but it accelerates so fast. Where the first ones were thousands of dollars, this one was $40. Mass production makes a big difference.
That's how
in our
folding
hands.
screens. I have a foldable screen. They used to be very expensive. Now they're like $500. I spent
the movie that set the
mine.
precedence on that was 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh, you know what? That makes sense. I did
Those
that one.
tablets on the table.
Yeah.
Those were not tablets. They were holes in the set with projections. Projecting from a 35 millimeter projector or 16 millimeter on a rear projection screen, but it looked like our tablets.
Did, yeah.
Yeah, but that was enough to start the juices of us achieving that.
Circulate the mind.
Yeah,
gators.
when you start going back in time and looking at all the correlations in our films and TV shows, and it's like, oh my gosh, we are achieving that. Yeah.
So you would say fiction fuels the future.
Yeah, well, science fiction always stimulates the mind because it makes you grasp and visualize what the writers are trying to translate. One of the, of course, Lord of the Rings was a great read when I was in high school. Dune was a great read in high school. The one that was Beyond was Foundation. And, I was like
the Apple TV show.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was a book.
Oh yeah, it's a very complex visual.
I can imagine.
Because it was a hard read because your brain had to really go out there, and I gave up on it when I was 17. I'm like, no, this is too big of a read for me. And Dune was like that too. And of course, when we look at trying to achieve that visual, and now we have our technology that allows us to visualize these complex worlds,
Right.
and we can actually see it in a material aspect. You remember the whole doomsday? I'll leave you with this. Remember the 2012, the end of the world?
Yeah.
Most people don't
December
realize.
12th, 2012.
Do you remember all the energy about the world coming to an end because of the Mayan calendar foretold this? Do you know what actually happened?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. Do you remember
I mean,
the movie
nothing.
2012?
Yeah.
Roland Emmerich? Do you remember that movie with John Cusack in it? Roland Emmerich directed it and wrote it.
What is it called? 2012.
2012.
Yeah, with the whole.
The end of the world. We watched, right, this coast, we watched go into the ocean. I watched my house go into the ocean. We lived it. But we lived it in a fourth dimensional viewer. We were
So
an
technically,
observer.
the Mayans were right.
And you know what happened? Everyone that said the end of the world was happening, they stopped talking about it. And I said, yeah, but we did live it.
Yeah.
If you went to a movie theater and experienced it, you got to watch the entire world get obliterated. Does that count? Maybe. I
mean,
watched my house go in the water very aggressively. I said, we just...
You bring
we're
up a
under.
very good point. I've never looked at it like that in that way.
But when you start looking at it, all of a sudden you're going to wake up the next day and you're going to have the aha moments. Because your brain is connecting dots.
Yeah.
You know, the pathways start to connect. And what you dismiss or you put in the trash as fiction, and it could never happen, all of a sudden you're bringing it back out and you're recycling it. You go, well, wait a minute, this might have substance. This might have purpose, and that might fit this piece over here that I've been looking for. And then all of a sudden you're looking at a much bigger picture. And then good luck, socializing.
No, listen. If there's people around like you, John, I'm gonna have no problem socializing because this is.
We're out there.
This is the stuff that
Guys
I
like
really
me, we
like
keep to ourselves mostly.
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of people talking, and they can really talk. But then the next, when you look at the sense, how long is that going to affect me? Or is it just like a sugar high?
Yeah.
Or does it have real nutritional value for my brain and for my body?
For sure.
And that's the thing. We have to really be able to discern that.
Got to be able
There's
to
a
filter
lot.
out
There's a lot out
what's
there.
good, what's not good.
Oh yeah, it's the greatest show on earth right now. We're watching it all happen right now. You couldn't make this stuff up.
No.
Well, we're living right now.
No, you couldn't. You couldn't.
Does it read as a bad science fiction or a bad fiction or a pretty darn good creative fiction?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Whoever's reading my book will have to tell me later. Okay.
Awesome.
John, you're amazing, man.
All right, man.
I
It's
hope.
a pleasure.
I hope they. I'm gonna be looking into the rocket, man. If they end up shooting it tomorrow, I know it's raining the next day, so I imagine they probably won't.
It probably gets postponed for a few days. It's just some satellites they're putting up. It's no big deal.
Yeah, but now that I know,
Yeah.
you might see me out here.
Yeah, well, sounds good. Well, there's an app that you can download for your phone. It's called Next Space Flight.
Next space flight.
Yeah, and it'll let you know of all the launches around the world. It's called Next Space. It's in any of the stores, Google, and but it's great, and it'll alert you, let you know, and you'll be.
That's
up.
the one right
That's
there.
it. Yeah, you'll
Bada
be
bing,
up.
bada boom.
It opens your world up. You're like, wow, there's a lot of stuff going into space.
Hey, listen, and I don't want a closed world.
Yeah,
That's just Earth, and I already live here.
Yeah. It becomes very mundane, and when you're in that routine, and because most people like my age, there's a term and we call it hardwired. And they've lived so long, they say, well, this is the world as it is, and I'm accepting it, I'm not allowing any variables. So their brains are no longer malleable.
Yeah.
And you have to work really hard to keep malleability and keep yourself open to learn.
You gotta
'Cause
stay
most people say, well,
moldable.
that's the way I am, I'm not changing.
Yeah.
And they're rigid, that's it. And so you just accept them. You don't
gotta
try
be
to
like
force
Play-Doh.
You always have to remain the plasticity, the word.
Yeah, man, I got you. I
Keep
got
it
you.
soft and squishy.
Keep it
people.
soft and squishy and be able to go into any shape.
Yeah, and then you can recharge the battery.
It is. John, you're amazing. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Please stay dry.
Always do, yeah. I love the rain though, but
You do?
yeah, absolutely.
I'm not a fan. I'm from Phoenix. We have monsoons and it creates
Oh
a lot
yeah,
of issues.
yeah. You get the torrential, unpredictable.
Yeah.
And there's no drains when
No.
it rains there.
No. Like you don't go on a freeway.
You don't have
when it's
sewers.
raining.
There's no sewers. Everything floods.
Yeah. I mean, we have some cities that have drains, but it's
the
not,
newer ones. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's not
remember
a
when I went to
widespread-
Phoenix, there was no drains. There was like 2 feet of water.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were working on a film way back when, and it got postponed because we didn't get to our locations until it all subsided.
They started changing it now. They put a little bit more drains in, like in South Phoenix where I'm from. There's some drains there.
But when the weather starts to force your hand,
Yeah, you don't have
gotta
nothing else to
plan
do.
this stuff. Yeah. Well, climate change is real.
Oh,
but it's
100%.
not from what most people talk about, but like if you live long enough, you start to see patterns.
Yeah.
And I told everyone, because of the mega El Nino that was in, I said, we're going to have warm weather. We're not going to have a winter here. I said, it's probably going to be like mid-70s on Christmas Day. I said back when I was a kid, when I got a bike and I went out on Christmas Day, it was 88 degrees in LA, just 7 miles from here.
Yeah.
I remembered that. So that was in the 70s. So, we just have a different perspective of the change of the weather now.
Yeah.
But it's...
But you wouldn't call this winter.
Well, this is a California winter.
This is enough of winter for me, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, usually it's just... No, this is like gentle. You can just like sleep out here. Which a lot of people do. But
I prefer 120
8 years ago,
weather.
it was 44 degrees here.
Hard pass.
Yeah.
Hard
I mean,
pass.
we had snow like a few years ago. There was snow down on the beach. How do you predict
What was that, 2021?
Yeah.
I think so. I think
Redondo
around that
Beach.
time. All right, this is going to look a lot different, but I wanted to give some type of salutation because the video did die. I mean, the laptop died, and I kind of figured I'm probably going to need a new laptop. This laptop is from it's thick. This laptop is thick. I'm talking not Meg the Stallion thick, Lizzo thick. This thing is a unit. This thing's a unit. So I kind of knew it was going to die, but I want to thank Ashley Davis, John Riley for coming through. Like I said, there wasn't much going on here, so I didn't know if anybody was going to sit down. Got two people to sit down and have some wonderful conversations. So as always, my name is Mykhal Polite. We are live from Venice Beach. Signing off from Venice Beach is probably a better salutation. My name is Mykhal Polite. Signing off from Venice Beach. This has been Potting in Public, session number 3. See you for session number 4.